The boroughs are New York City. The burbs are everywhere else. Real estate is the ultimate game of risk and reward. It's the biggest investment most people ever make. Fortunes are made over a lifetime and lost in a day. And we're not playing with Monopoly money. How do you stay ahead? Who's buying? Who's selling? And why? What do they know? We want the truth. You need an edge. Boroughs and Burbs is your secret weapon, giving you the insider knowledge and strategies you need to succeed in the high-stakes world of real estate. From Palm Beach to Palm Springs, Manhattan to Malibu, we press the experts to expose the pain, find the deals, and occasionally predict the future. That's Boroughs and Burbs, Thursdays, 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific. Because everyone can make money in real estate.
I like that.
You like that?
I didn't know you guys were in Hollywood on the side aside from selling real estate.
Always be branding, Manny. Let me tell you about branding. It's very, very important. You know, this marketing stuff. You know, otherwise I'd just be a regular guy.
And how long have you guys been doing the podcast? How long have you been doing the show?
Oh, I think we're on 4 years now, right, Roberto?
Something like that, yeah. It
started because I'm out here in the suburbs, and I thought, you know, I need credibility. I need street cred. I got to go find myself a Manhattan broker who writes a market report, has big reach, has big sales. He's going to make me seem more important. So I call Roberto, and I was like,
so far, not so good.
I really like your market report. You really, you know, understand the market. Would you do this with me? And
yeah, that's what John said. You know, we should do a show. I was like, a show?
Well, that's great.
Here we are at 149.
You guys have been consistent. That's what it's all about. Good. Consistency.
It's really been wonderful. We've done shows all in really different places all over the world, so it's really been amazing.
Wow, that's great. Now, when you say all different places in the world, meaning when one of you has been traveling,
But we've
my favorite example.
We did a show in St. Bart's when I was there. John's been to Florida. He's been to Art Basel. But we've also, you know, done shows on Marbella and Norway. I mean, everywhere. So it's been great.
My favorite example was going down to Art Basel, where Elliman was, you know, had a booth, and I set up my laptop in the cafeteria, right in the great big cafeteria of the show, and people are all buzzing around me, and I'm doing the show on Texas, and because I've propped my laptop up on a recycle bin, this guy right in the middle of the show moves it just so he can stick his wrappers in the recycle bin. Oh, you can't make that up. But you know, that's what happens when you go live in the middle of a trade show. All right. This is where I have to actually have a beginning at some point. So I'm going to hit share. Boom. There it is. So it's a good segue. Where have we been? Last week, you see, we did architects and designers. We did a mid-year market report, luxury car edition with your own Johnny Haddam.
Yeah.
Featured on that show.
Yeah.
We did Vince Rocco in New York. He's been doing a podcast longer than we have. And Portugal was before that. Want to thank our sponsor, Grace Farms. They're doing a Architecture Moves Us. That's their 9th anniversary benefit featuring the London Philharmonic Orchestra. It's coming up. You can get tickets at gracefarms.org. I'm going to introduce my partner at robertocabrera.com. You see, this is his latest market report, all kinds of good graphs. So that's where you're going to find more from Roberto on the New York market. Today, Manny Sarkis is our special guest, and we're going to talk to him about evolving from being a mere real estate team to being a billion-dollar business. And so with that, welcome, Manny.
Hi, everyone.
Good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. You have been very, you've really continued to try to get us on here. And I know you said it's been a little bit of a long time coming, but I'm here and excited to be here. And you always bring great energy. So happy to be on.
I think I was first met you and your brother at the Aspire conference on the West Coast, just outside of LA. And what I remember about the conversation was, I mean, the room was full of top agents. And I have to say that for the most part, these top agents are extremely good salespeople, and they have amazing personalities, and they rely on their charm, their personal charm, and their personalities to win business. But what struck me about the conversation with you and your brother was you started talking about the systems and a more disciplined approach and accountability. And I said, I want to have a show not only about how to organize a team, but on accountability and those systems, so that the real estate business can be more, not only grow based on great salespeople, but accountability and predictability. And so that was really what was the impetus for the show so long ago. It's easy when you're Roberto and you just have Roberto to worry about. But once you evolve to a super team, life gets a bit more complicated. Can you tell us about the beginnings and what caused you to form a team in the first place and how you structure your business?
For sure. So I would say George and I are brothers. We're partners, and the charisma, the positive attitude, our network, our advising towards our clients, it can it will always grow. The referrals will always come in. The business will always continue to grow. However, we did realize that we are only two people, and we've always had a couple agents, but in order to scale and get to where we wanted to get, we needed a management team. We needed our agents to get to a certain level where our clients were, as much as they would want Manny and George, they weren't only just getting Manny and George, they were also getting the Sarkis team. And they were getting our director of operations, Chris Parnell, knew everything that was happening from a transactional standpoint. Our director of marketing, Tony, knew everything about the listing to get the listing up and ready, because we preach the importance of marketing with Douglas Elliman, and our marketing department would always help us with that. And then our agents, we brought our agents to the point where George and I weren't going to a listing pitch, or we weren't taking on a listing unless we had an agent with us, because the best way for them to evolve is they weren't going to evolve by just continuing to be at the office, prospect. They would always learn through their own clients, but being sponges around George and I, jumping in the car with us, coming to a listing presentation, having difficult conversations. And you never figure it out fully. And we're always continuing to audit our systems and our process and our operations as we do continue to grow year over year. But we knew we needed management. We knew we needed assistance, and we know we needed our agents to continue to grow in this industry to help George and I.
Can I ask you something? You said to get us to where we wanted to go. So you had a vision of what was that vision of where you wanted to go? And are you there, or where are you in the process? And how long has it been since you guys said, hey, we need to scale?
We're not there. And I do hope we are on our way, and I believe we really are well on our way. At first, we were real estate. We are all real estate agents, and George and I would say when we first started early on, we looked at ourselves as real estate agents. And some of the hardest things, I wouldn't call it a flaw, but one of the hardest things to scale when you're a real estate agent is you chase the deal. You could be in an important operations meeting. Phone rings, Manny, my client wants to come back, third showing, they're only here for 2 hours. We'd get up and we'd go. And you have to do that at times, of course. However, we tried to get to a point where we weren't only operating as real estate agents, we were running a team. We got to a point where we were operating as a company and as executives in the company with our management team behind us. And sometimes, yes, if we had to take a showing, we would go to it. But that's why we brought our agents on with us. Because if we can close, we want our agents to get to a point where they could close also. So as they continue to get better, they were going out taking that second or third showing potentially. And George and I were still talking with Chris, with Tony, and figuring out other matters that needed to be handled from a company standpoint.
Who are Chris and Tony?
Chris is our director of operations. He's been with us for a little over, I believe, two years. And Tony is our creative and marketing director, who's also been with us about 2.5 years now.
So your org is how many people, more or less?
George and I are the partners at the top. Then our management team is Chris Parnell, director of operations, and then Tony, our creative marketing director. Then under Tony, we have another marketing assistant. And then under Chris, we have a transaction coordinator and a listing manager. So I'd say we have 5 full-time employees who are working with us. And then below that are our agents, which we have 11 full-time agents now.
And is every agent capable of listing or being a buyer's agent? Are they all working the entire length of the transaction, or do you have showing agents and other specialties?
It's a case by case scenario. When we're not just bringing on any agent, we do have a hiring process where it's where Chris is involved with us, where George and I get involved. We have a hiring process, but we really try to, one way we operate is we are not only downtown. George and I's business model is we always preach from the city to the suburbs. We go where our clients go. We're not downtown Boston agents only. We're not some of the districts in the city or the Back Bay, the Seaport, Beacon Hill. We're not only transacting in certain neighborhoods in the city. We are not some of the suburbs that we transact in Metro West could be Brookline, Newton, Wellesley, Weston. We are not only local agents in those markets either. So what was very important for George and I, the good thing about Boston is you could be downtown and you can get anywhere without traffic, and traffic could be tough, but Boston's a small city. So you could go from Fenway to the North End to the Seaport in 10, 15 minutes. So we're transacting in all these markets, and our buyers, our clients are buying in all these markets. However, these clients who started off in the city with George and I ended up selling their condos or renting their condos and taking that next step. And we developed great relations with them where we wanted to stay with them. And the agents that we've brought on, they live in these markets. One of them lives in Wellesley. One of them, Roy, who was just here, lives in the South End. We have Emily, who lives in, I just mentioned, Emily lives in Wellesley, is very well, knows the Wellesley market very well. We have South Shore agents who live in Hingham, heading down towards the Cape. So George and I are handling these clients. However, we're bringing on local agents who know that market very well also to assist us.
So your primary focus, sorry, John, your primary focus is kind of covering the map with how you are finding your specific agents.
Yes and no. We do, if they fit the team, they have the experience, they fit the team, they're going to be an asset to the team, they'll get along with our agents on the team, we will bring them on. Now, do we need 5 agents in Brookline? No, we don't need 5 agents in Brookline. So we try to pin, usually the agent, Yeah. Usually the agents are reaching out to us to get in the door, to join the team. And it is important to know where they've transacted and where they are experienced, because some agents only want to transact in the towns that they live in or the neighborhoods in the city that they live in, because they know the school systems, they know the restaurants, the dog parks, everything that goes on with that. And our clients do want to know that for sure. So a lot of these agents end up being an extension of us when it's super hyper focused on a specific area.
So one of the things we've heard over the last couple of years, 4 years, talking with big teams is some of the criticism is that people join teams when they don't have enough business because they expect that the team will feed them business. And then as they evolve as an agent and they get better and they develop a book of business, they leave the team. And so I'm just wondering, is this a pattern you've experienced, and what kind of systems do you put in place to sort of keep a good agent interested?
For sure. So we tell our agents every day, they're agents at Douglas Elliman under the Sarkis team, but as much as they are agents on the Sarkis team, every one of our agents is their own CEO. They are running their own company within our company. They are their brand has to be consistent with our branding, our brand pillars. However, they have their own book of clients. They do their own follow-up. They continue to grow. And it is, if their business isn't, we have two different streams. We have their own procured business, our agents' his own procured business, and then their business that is coming in directly from the Sarkis business that comes to the Sarkis team that gets referred out to our agents. I wouldn't say we're successful leaders if an agent started off with us doing $10 million a year, and in year 2 they did 11 million, in year 3 they did 9, and in year 4 we want to see our agents continue to grow. We want our agents taking on more challenging listings, dealing with buyers who have higher price points in years 2, in years 3, in years 4. We don't want them continuing to do the same thing in year 4 that they were doing in year 1, because and this is also for our management team too. Anybody who's with our team, we never want anybody to get to a sense of comfort, a sense of where they don't feel like they are evolving. If somebody's doing smoke inspections for 3-4 years and getting water readings for 3-4 years and just going to inspections for George and I, they're not going to stay with us. They're not, next person up, you're moving on up. Let's go. It's our job. And yes, it's difficult. Do agents leave? Yes. Have agents left? Yes. If we bring an agent on and they start out doing $5 to $10 million a year, and in year 4 or 5, they're $50-60 million agents, some of them stay, some of them leave. We are confident that our team does provide the value. We have the backing. We have the clientele where we tell our team, scream the Sarkis team to the mountaintops. Use our listings to your advantage. Use Manny and George. Use the team that we have to your advantage. If you're going to a listing presentation in the Back Bay, and we have 3 agents who have transacted X amount in the Back Bay, and I've had success in the Back Bay, bring us with you. Take one of us with you. We can speak at lengths to the Back Bay, and our team utilizes each other. But yes, people will leave, people will stay, but the goal is to keep them there. But we want them to stay if they're happy, and they see that we're helping them grow as agents, as people, and they're continuing to get better. That's the goal.
So how about the communications? I mean, how does everybody communicate? Are you relying on electronically, or do you actually physically get together in the office? I know you bought your own office building couple
Yeah.
years ago. So I have to think that the physical plant is somewhat important to the Sarkis team.
For sure. So we have, well, we do have a group text that sometimes I feel like my phone's gonna turn on fire because it doesn't stop ringing or vibrating. I have to put it on silent sometimes. But we have a group text within the team that we're trying to limit the communications on that. But credit to Chris. First off, Chris has set up an intranet for our team where a lot of the questions, a lot of the files that our team needs, the new listings that come in, the new buyer needs, every buyer has, all our agents have different buyers, the off-market listings that the team brings in, everything lives on the internet, and it's a live system that Chris has put together where the team always logs in, and it's kind of the Sarkis team backend. But yes, we do have our own standalone office in the financial district. George and I purchased the building during COVID. We completely redid the building. A lot of, our Douglas Elliman family in New York came during our grand opening, and we are running our operation at our headquarters in the financial district. We do have team meetings in the office. Chris is here every day. Tony's here every day. Our staff is here every day, and our agents are in and out. A lot of them are here, and George and I mainly are here a lot. We're either, if we're not on the road, we do come to the office. We have Element has their Back Bay office, their Wellesley office, their Nantucket office, but this is where the Sarkis team agents are, and this is where we're operating. And it's a fun culture. It's walking around, talking in the office, popping into everybody, picking each other's brain. Everybody has something new going on every day, and it's an open book here, and we're all here to help each other out.
You're known for some celebrity clients. When I do a search on Sarkis Team news, this is what pops up first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And behind that, a couple of Red Sox, a couple of Celtics, a couple of Patriots. You guys are known for working with celebrity clients. A lot of people on this show are like, well, how do you get started? How do you get in front of Jaylen Brown? How do you get in front of the Red Sox to begin with? And I gotta wonder, is it because once you are known in one of those organizations and trusted, they pass your name around? It's a referral business. Or are you just the one that everybody knows in Boston? He's the guy who can hook you up. They've got discretion, they've got connections, they can help you at this level. Talk to me about the celebrity market.
You've met my brother George, and he is a walking billboard. And he's
the marketing side of the team. Is that what you're saying?
For sure. Well,
you're the numbers guy.
George and I worked out of college. I was at Pricewaterhouse. I'm an accountant, worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers. George has always had the marketing background. It's kind of why we work very well together. We're both out, we're taking on listings together, but George is more of the marketing background, and George works hand in hand with Tony. I was at PricewaterhouseCoopers in the financial district. I can actually look out our office now and see PricewaterhouseCoopers' building, but did accounting for X amount of years. It was great. Got out of accounting, and we kind of merged that marketing accounting background together, and it works great.
Are you the older or younger brother?
I'm 39, George is 36. Yeah. But to answer your question, it's trust with these guys. It is, yes, it's definitely the referrals within that network, within that community. If some of them have worked together and they've had success and they've trusted our team to advise them in their decisions, usually that's not, when you're dealing with those clients, it's not lead generated, it is referral based, and people want to work with people who they trust. We've told our clients to say no just as many times as we've told them to say yes. We've told our clients to not offer on properties or offer on properties, because with a lot of these guys also too, some of them can only be here for a few years. And we've told them this could be, if you're only going to be here for 1 year and you don't have a long-term contract locked in, let's look at this real estate. If you lock in a longer term contract and you know you're going to be here for 5+ years and you have kids who are going to be going into the school systems, let's look at this market. But we've continued to work with them, and we've continued to establish relationships with them, and we go to a few of their games, I would say, and it's been they see us there, and as much as we're at all the games, they pop into our office also, and they'll pick our brains because
But
aside
that
from,
kind of client requires that you have a national network, because once they get traded or they have other homes in Palm Beach, they've got interest in LA, it seems to me that that's another reason that you have to not only look outside of central Boston into the Boston suburbs, but you have to look beyond Massachusetts, all up and down the East Coast, and help these clients wherever they may go. You follow your clients? How well do you do that?
and I told you that earlier when we were talking. I mean, we have clients who have, after they've retired or if they've got traded, some of them haven't stayed in Boston. Some of them have went to Palm Beach. Some of them have went to Greenwich, and some of them have went out west. We've had referrals going out, and we put trust in those Elliman agents across the country, but we're making the introduction from our clients to those Elliman agents because we don't know the market in Greenwich. We don't know the market in New York. We don't know the market in California as much as the local agents. And yet we've connected our clients because they feel a sense of security when we're on a group text together, for example. We can speak at length about the design and about the real estate in those markets, but when it comes down to negotiating and knowing what the next steps are going to be, we want to make sure they're connected with another trusted Elliman agent. And referrals are a big part of our business.
How big? Care to put a number on it? What percentage?
I mean, it's granted not the volume we're doing in Massachusetts, but it's continuing to grow. It is continuing to grow as the years go on, and our client book continues to grow. More and more of our clients are also reaching out to us because they are getting their second homes, their third homes, they're being relocated for work. And there's nothing easier than making a connection to an agent and then having that agent run with it because they want these clients also.
So this break.
Can I ask a question? So you have a client like Jaylen Brown, which is huge. John says, how do you get in front of him? So you got to take a charge. So
that's a basketball humor.
Yes, it is. You work more of as an executive and not as an agent. So if you have someone like that, you're not just going to hand them to any agent. You're going to be highly involved in that situation.
George and I are real estate agents with them. We are real estate. We are not passing those clients off. George, we look at ourselves as executives because we are running a company within Douglas Elliman for sure. And we try not to get too caught up in the weeds and try to allow us to focus on the team and the bigger picture. But yes, we are operating as real estate agents on our listings. You guys will see some of our listings. We don't just pass off our listings to our agents and tell them to go run with it, get it to the closing table. Yes, there are some that get fully referred out to our agents and they let us know when it closes, but Jaylen Brown's not getting passed off.
Because if you're passing around clients like that, I can commute.
Those clients aren't getting passed off, and that's why they trust us, and we provide that level of service to them. And they're friends too. They end up, they may start off as clients, but they end up being friends. I mean, sometimes our conversations aren't even only about real estate; they're about other things, which is important.
Right, so this begs the question of how do you organize it. Recently, we had Steve Shull on the show, and we said,
I just finished that book.
it's a good book. It's a good book. Steve is of the philosophy that you have 90 to 200 relationships, and especially if you're in the luxury market, that you should not be buying Google pay-per-click, should not be buying Zillow leads. You should be focused on the 200 people who matter, the Jaylen Browns, and sticking with them and checking in with them at least every 90 days with a conversation that starts with, hey, Jaylen, how are you doing? Would you say this resembles your approach to the business, or do you have a massive ad budget and you're just buying a whole lot of Google pay-per-click and billboards around Boston?
Can't give you all the secrets. But I can tell you, we have the network, we have the referrals, that stream of clientele, recurring clientele continues to evolve and only grow as time goes on. George and I hosted we recently hosted a ball for our clients when we hit $1 billion, and we had over 300 individuals there. It was in the city. It was a beautiful evening. Richard Ferrari was here for it, and it was a fulfilling night. It was great. It was almost it made people wonder, I got to work with the Sarkis team around the city. And those clients they're not only clients, we connect our clients together. They mingle together that night. They figured how financial advisors could connect with an athlete, or insurance agents could connect with financial advisors that night. And George and I like to connect our clients together because it kind of gives you that sense of a Sarkis team family. And we always follow up with them. We'll continue to follow up with them. We check in with them. George and I make sure we block off time in our calendars to check in with all these clients, because it's not only about going to dinners or going out or going to ball games, because that takes time. And we have kids and we have families, and maybe sure we were able to do it 10 years ago, yes, but we want to make sure we're spending enough time with our families also. And yes, granted, we love to do the dinners and we love to do all that, but we block off time. We call our clients. We do small check-ins. We have profiles on all of our clients. We know their kids. We know their kids' birthdays. So they know we're there. We're not only touching them to talk real estate, and it becomes natural, and they continue to send us the referrals. But granted, that all takes a lot of work and a lot of talking and a lot of communication. We also want the leads to come in. We want the people coming into Boston. August, traditionally, July and August are slower months, but once you start to get towards the last 2 weeks of August, students are back. Everybody knows we're the hub for colleges around the world. And with these students come friends, come family members, come parents, come investors, come everyone. And we want to get the calls also too, which they're coming in, and we're continuing to grow that stream of business, where you're here for a weekend and you're looking at property and you're searching real estate agents, you're calling the Sarkis team. Not relationship based only. Well, once they call us, we'll turn that into a relationship. But we need to make sure that there's a good stream, not only coming in from our referrals and our current clients, but also from the cold leads that are just searching.
See that, Roberto? We got the finance guy, we got the operations side of the house on the show today. We're going to learn something about systems and discipline. So care to put on that? See, I think that was a deficiency of Scholl's model. He says your referral network is all you need. Do a good job with it. And I find that
he's right, because we've always done that. That is how we grew our business. George and I have never invested in Google. We haven't done, but that doesn't mean that's right, because we've always grown our business by calling our clients on their birthdays, by going to their weddings, they've turned from clients to friends, and that was natural and that was fun. And we enjoyed that. We are in the power of networking, of relationships, and we know we didn't have to read that book to know that. We know that. But also too, just because you're doing well in one avenue, and after you asked earlier, where do you see, have you gotten to where you've gotten? No, because there are some agents who strictly only rely on leads. They don't really cultivate the relationships. The lead comes in, they go meet the buyer, they close. Some of these agents might not touch that buyer again. And granted, everybody has their own secret sauce and it's different strokes for different folks, but we want to have both business models work because they will both bring in clientele and they will both evolve. And we also have a big team of agents that we want to continue to grow, and they will all be able to handle those leads for us.
Roberto, should I keep going?
It's just with regards to the team. So I work by myself, right? I do everything, which is painful actually in some ways. Like right now, I just started a holiday and I had 5 phone calls of things that have to get done. And I'm calling dear colleagues that I set up beforehand, say, listen, are you around for the next couple of weeks? Because I'm going to need your help, et cetera. But so I'm just curious in building a team. So I have people who work for me.
When you say colleagues, do you mean other Elliman agents who are just their own agents?
I work for Brown Harris Stevens in Manhattan. So I work for a different company. John and I used to work for the same company. John went to Elliman. So,
okay.
And so I'm just curious from a standpoint of, in having other agents and things like that, like, I always think, if I brought a couple of people on this and that, it's like, how do I get these people to care about what my business is and my vision? Because they they want to learn a little bit, but once they get going, they do want to go do their own thing because they should be ambitious people and they want to do their own thing. Why, and it becomes difficult and I become hesitant about making that investment in somebody because I know they're going to leave once they get good or once they learn enough. So how do you get people to actually care about what your vision is and what your business is about? How do you do that? How do you maintain that over years and years and years, not have them really just leave?
It's hard. It's not, and I wouldn't say it's hard. I just believe it comes down to all of us as leaders, knowing that all of those agents who are working or everybody who's working for your team or for your company, they came through that door and they went through the interview process and they ended up working for the Sarkis team or whichever team or company because we saw the potential, we liked them, and we saw that they provide value. If somebody worked for you for 1 year and leaves, it's not really beneficial in my opinion. However, and I said this earlier, if they're continuing to grow year over year, not only from yes, everybody they want to make more money and they want the commissions to come in, but they're also learning. They are dealing with more challenging listings. They are dealing with buyers at higher price points. They're coming with George. Our agents are coming with George and I on our bigger pitches, our bigger clients. It's a sense of reward that our agents have felt, and they feel like they've become part of this team that's not only grown their business through George and I, but their own book of business also has continued to grow, and almost to the point where if they leave the Sarkis team, it's a coin flip. Are they going to continue to, they're not going to get the Manny and George referrals, but also too, they're not going to be going on listing pitches screaming the successes of the Sarkis team. So I think it's just very important nobody wants to be complacent. Nobody wants to feel like they're continuing to go on a straight line. As long as our agents are continuing to grow, we're listening to them. They have new challenges. then they're here.
What I hear you saying is they care about the Sarkis team because the Sarkis team cares about them, cares about
do.
their professional growth, their revenue growth, whether they're personally fulfilled. And if you give all of that to them, you expect them to care when you go on vacation as much about your business as you do.
Of course, when we have our Chris has quarterly meetings with all of our agents, and then we have end of year meetings. And when we have our end of year meetings with our agents, we're not just asking them what their upcoming year sales volume goal is. We ask them, what are your personal goals next year? What do you want to achieve? And then when we have the recap the following year, yes, we'll go through the numbers and see if they met their goals. But did you buy that condo? Did you go on the trip that you wanted to go on with your kids? Because that is just as important. Balance is very important, and we all work a lot, and we know that. But if our agents are meeting their goals financially, but also personally, that's very important to us.
How long since you brought on your first agent under you guys? Not admins or things like that. Your first agent. How long ago was that?
That was George, because George started before me. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so. Yeah.
So now you're at about 11 in total.
11 in total. It's went up. At one time it was 15. It went down to 8. Now we're at about 11, and we feel like we're in a really, really good place with the agents that we have. And we actually just interviewed 2 new agents this past week who are great, who are going to be joining the team.
So, but when you look at your vision of growing the business and scaling, is it about the size of your team? Not only, of course, you want to bring in more business on a per capita type of basis, of course, but do you see yourself being at 25 people?
It's definitely, and this sounds cliche, but it really is quality for us over quantity. If there were 25, 30 rock star agents who were ready to join our team and were an asset to our team and would all get along and help us in different markets, in the markets that we're transacting in, and maybe markets that we're not even in yet, yes, of course. But if we interviewed 20 agents and only 2 of them was a fit, then we'd be fine going from 11 to 13 and staying at 13 for however long. It really depends. It's not a numbers game where we just want to have 20, 25 agents. We want to make sure that the agents are the right fit, can provide the service that we need for our clients, and want to continue to grow, and are aligned with our brand pillars and our vision too.
Which you would describe as what?
Well, so before, give Tony credit for this, but before, when Tony started with us 2.5 years ago, however it was, he threw George and I in a room, and he said, we really need to lock down. Like, everybody has, their cliche brand pillars, but he asked George and I, what we were passionate about, what we liked. And we would tell Tony, we have a big network. People connect with us. He goes, okay, so you guys are connected. That's a brand pillar of ours. Another thing, our clients love our videos. They love the jumping in the pool, playing basketball. We invest in our videos, and we don't want our videos to be just like everybody's video. So Tony goes, you're innovative from a marketing standpoint. We need to know the data of every market that we're in. We can't we transact in many markets. We go where our clients go, but we still need to know the data. We need to know the downtown Boston market data and the affluent suburbs. We need to know the data in them, how many homes are trading, what the price per square foot is, what are the days on market. So Chris is putting together these reports that we are reviewing every Monday on what's happened the prior week, the prior month, year-over-year comparisons. So we're knowledgeable. We're knowledgeable, we're connected, we're innovative, we're relentless. These are some of the things that we preach and we scream to our team, and we say this should be natural. When you're going on where if you're out at a coffee meeting, if you're walking down the street, not only when you're at a listing presentation, or not only when you're at a buyer, or not only when you're just talking to another agent, but we need to be consistent as Sarkis Team agents across the board in Boston and in Massachusetts.
Let me ask you the big picture, sort of the crystal ball, as we're sort of wrapping up the hour.
Able to wear bow ties that are as fashionable as you.
I want to know where we're going with this, and here's why. 20 years ago, a lot of boutiques, they got bundled up as some of the major brands, gobbled up smaller players and decided that they were going to be in all of them. Brown Harris Stevens, all of the major luxury markets on the East Coast. Elliman, all of the major luxury markets, in the United States and European partners. And you've started to see, and this is why you're here, the evolution of the super teams. And some of them, like Eklund Gomes, have decided that they need to be on both coasts and Florida. So I want to understand, what is the value, number one, what's the value of being part of a national brand? What is the evolution of the super team? And I'll just stop with that. And particularly the Sarkis team. Are you going to be? And one of my best friends is over in Brown Harris Stevens. Same thing. Harkov Lewis in New York. They bought their own building. They have their own storefront, and they run a $500 million a year business within Brown Harris Stevens. You run $1 billion business within Elliman. Is that going to continue?
So anywhere we go, we love Elliman. Elliman has been a big part of our success. It's almost become second nature when we go on a listing presentation or we're talking to clients. Can talk about Elliman with our eyes closed. Yes, we are local, but the importance of the national presence with Elliman, the global presence with Knight Frank, our partners in all different markets, your buyers for certain listings in Massachusetts could be relocation buyers. They could be coming from our partners in New York, from our partners in California. So the importance of Elliman and what they've done for us and how much they've helped our clients, that's known now. And that's why a lot of our clients are working with us for sure. Now, where do we want to go? If you're asking, are we going to open a Nantucket office or a New York office or a Connecticut office?
That's what I'm asking.
Right now, we are here and we love Boston and Massachusetts. Are we jumping on a plane to go to Nantucket with our clients because they want our advice on the house that they're looking at in Nantucket? Yes.
You just told me that you needed hyper local knowledge and put together a team of 11 of people who live in those communities. So why not Nantucket? Seems like a natural next step.
We're here. We just pitched 3 listings in Nantucket yesterday in our office with the developer who lives in Boston, but he's building in Nantucket. We pitched 3 listings, but I was very honest with him. We will refer that out right now. We'll refer that out to the agent who is boots on the ground, who lives in Nantucket, who knows what are the most desirable streets in Nantucket and why you can price this house there. And I said, I'm going to connect you with Jim Smith, who lives in Nantucket, is on island all summer, and you will get Jim, and Jim will show your home. You will have the Sarkis team blast your listing to our network. There's a good chance your buyer in Nantucket is coming from Boston or Massachusetts. We will blast it. We will market it. I will be in Nantucket in August. I will go buy the listing and get some video content for you. But right now, we are continuing to refer that out. We're referring business to Palm Beach. We're referring business all over to our other Elliman agents. I can't tell you what the future holds, but it is.
I'll be in Nantucket in August, looking for office space.
That's what we're going to continue. we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to, you know, George and I, you know, continue to push ourselves every day. We hold each other accountable. We want each other to get better, and growth is definitely very important to us.
Is New York important to your market? Is Florida?
Of course. I mean, Florida, there's a lot. I mean, we are there's a lot. There's been a ton of our clients who have migrated. I mean, for tax reasons, they are going down to Florida. I'm selling one of our clients' houses now in Weston, who we've connected with an agent in Florida because he's moving down there. But to tell you, am I going to go to Florida every week to jump on a plane? No, that's impossible. So we're going to connect them, and the Elliman agents have been a big outlet and a big resource for George and I's clients in Massachusetts, and they continue to help us, and we're very appreciative of them.
Have you traveled to Florida for business purposes and
Yes.
California and, you know, some of these other markets?
If our clients, if we can, and not to, you know, differentiate clients, but yes, if we have travel booked and we have a client who's sold 3 or 4 properties with us, and we've made the introduction to the local agent in that market, and the client has asked us, man, you know, I'm flying in for that week to buy something. It would mean a lot if you could come. Yes, if the schedule permits it, we will go. We'll go with our clients if needed, but we're not going to be, it's impossible to be jumping on a plane every week.
I'll be honest with you. In the last month, 2 of my clients, good clients, have mentioned Naples, Florida to me. And it's made me think, you know, I'm not known. It's not part of my brand yet that they should call me for advice on what to do in Naples. But maybe I'm missing an opportunity. And that's where the question comes from. Am I missing an opportunity when enough people talk to me about Naples, Florida, and the Palm Beach neighborhood or the East Coast of Florida, that I either ought to have a presence there or a really, really tight relationship down there?
Yeah, hey, that's why we get referrals. And also too, just as important as it is, you never want to provide somebody a disservice either. We don't know those. We're getting the referrals in Massachusetts and Boston, and they continue to come in on a weekly basis. We're being trusted with some of our other fellow Elliman agents from Florida, from New York, from LA. They're connecting us with their trusted clients because they know that George and I and our team know this market. We know the top agents in this market. We know the off-market listings in this market. And we're doing it back and forth. They're sending us clients, we're sending them clients, and we'll continue to do that because we want to make sure that the clients that we send have the same experience from I'd say, negotiating price points standpoint in those markets that they transact in every single day.
Can I ask about the systems? How do you, once you get to be beyond, let's say, hey, it's just the 4 of us, a team of 4 or team of 8, once you get to be $1 billion business, I would imagine that you've got advertising and expenses, you have a building to pay for. You need a predictable stream of income. It's very difficult to do in our line of work.
Excuse me. And a piece of hair stuff in my throat.
No, but I mean, so it occurs to me that you've got to have billion-dollar systems in place. You have to have a CRM. You have to be able to measure the effect of your ROI on your advertising and your marketing. That we have evolved way beyond your brother's charm and his ability to schmooze with celebrity clients. Talk to me how you measure it.
So meaning
accountability.
Yeah. So meaning a lot of when it comes to the systems and the manuals that what is stuck in my throat? Sorry. It was like
We ask all the hard questions and suddenly he can't talk.
Couple $100 bills went through his throat.
There we go. Talk all day. So I would say George and I are big on our manuals. We have our operations manual, we have our marketing manual, and they are ever changing. Chris and Tony work on them. They adjust them as needed. They're audited on I would say, monthly basis. If something new comes into the team, to a client experience, we update that. And we try to, from the moment a listing comes in, and it's easier said than done, but we try to do, whether it's one of George and I's listing or Johnny's listing or Roy's listing or Emily's listing, we try to do things the same way on launching that listing. Now, granted, it's never, no agent operates the same way. Everybody has their own areas where they're strong in. And one thing that George and I have understood is that we all have one common goal. Now, how everybody gets to that common goal, as long as we're almost, I'd say, going in that same path, then we're fine. We're not going to micromanage our agents from the start to the finish, from point 1 to point 2 to point 3 to the end result. But if they're getting to the end result and they are a great reflection of our team, then we're giving our agents freedom also too there. Now, Chris is checking everything always, and our agents are checking in with Chris on a daily basis. They're calling Chris on a daily basis. They're not only reaching out to George and I, they mainly reach out to Chris. And if Chris needs to bring anything to George and I's attention, he will. But yeah.
All right. I want a couple calls to action. That's me, Engel Team. You'll find me, and that's Roberto. You'll find him at Brown Harris Stevens, USA. I want to remind you all that that was Manny Sarkis of the Sarkis Team. I loved, by the way, this about manual. A lot of bios are not so good. This was a particularly good one. I learned about you as a data and numbers driven guy. I can see how this might help somebody to get to know you and understand how you and the Sarkis Team are different. Before we go, I wanted to thank once again our sponsor, Grace Farms, 80 acres in New Canaan, and they're going to have their 9th anniversary benefit coming up with the London Philharmonic Orchestra. And if you like this show, tell your friends, refer us around, and please, right here, give us a rating. We got 24 ratings, and every one of them matters. Thank you, Manny. This was awesome.
Thank you, guys. You guys were great, great energy.
Thanks, Manny.
I love talking to you, and I love understanding, because Roberto says, why should I be on a team? And I'm on a team wondering, is it worth it? Should I keep growing? It's getting more expensive all the time. There's more mouths to feed, more business to drive. Is it worth it to be on a team? And you have inspired me that, yes, if I would just get myself a little bit more organized, it'll all fall into place. That about right?
Yep.
All right. And if you're looking for a Connecticut office, a Connecticut satellite, maybe of the Sarkis Teams, give me a call.
Will do.
All right. Thank you, Manny.
Thank you, Manny.
Roberto.
Great to see you, my friend. Cheers.
When are we going to see your next market report, Roberto?
Next week.
I can't wait. How do I get on the list for an advance copy?
You don't.
All right. With that, bye-bye, Roberto.
Take care, guys. Bye.